Digitalization changes everything. This is one of the key words, and the digital enterprise, so to say, the heart of digitalization within Siemens, it's our Industry 4.0, the digital enterprise, and it has been mentioned, by the way, in 2011, officially for the first time. People were talking about Industry 4.0. And in that time, 2011, it sounded like, oh, far, far, far away. That's rocket science, that's not there. Well, 7 years later, we're here, we're talking about digital enterprise, Industry 4.0, implement now. That means it's already taking place. It's already in use. Digital twins are no future talk anymore. We use them. We use them for production, for planning, for engineering, for everything. And digitalization consulting, of course, is needed when you want to plan something. Well, my two colleagues from the digital consulting team, Steve Baudry and Martin Schneider, will come up here and guide our customers step by step to implement their digital transformation. Please welcome them up here on stage, Steve Baudry and Martin Schneider.
Good afternoon, guys. How are you doing?
Thank you for the warm welcome, first of all.
I said, how are you doing, guys? You really seems to be a bit low in energy, right? I mean, I know it's already 4:15.
I see some very tired eyes here.
Yeah. But that's good news, is that we bring you some sugar, because I think that you need it to not run low in sugar. So we brought a few goodies to wake you up, to make sure that you are staying focused for the next 15 minutes, because I tell you, this is probably the more important 15 minutes of the day, huh?
I do hope so, and we want to get your buy-in, obviously, by surfing through some sweeties. And this is just an example of the big paint can you have here on the desk here, so meaning we don't want to make you carry that home, so it's a little bit more handy.
Thanks. Who wants some?
Who wants some?
Come on, guys. Yeah, that's good. We've got a few still left. Please have a seat. Oh, then even if Christine is helping you, that's perfect.
And the good news is there's more. So we just come to the digital enterprise process industry area over there, and you will see the great use case we have with Dulux from Australia, where we see with integrated engineering and operations what you do, how to optimize and leverage digitalization the best way, reducing the batch from 5,000 liters down to 100 liters, and have a very great success with that customer and great cooperation. And this all is creating value, Steve. I think that's what we should talk about today.
Yeah, that's the point. Actually, digitalization is not only about technologies. Actually, this is even more about value. And that's what we're going to talk about here. So probably you know, Martin, digitalization changed everything. It has been changing the traveling industry. It has been changing the taxi industry, the shopping industry. You've got a good example about that, right?
Yeah, you know, taking the train back home, obviously, where do you have your ticket? Where did you book your ticket? It's everything online, it's digital, no printouts anymore. You're flexible, you're dynamic, you can adapt to your daily business. It's the interfaces you expect as an end customer to be existing with the companies you deal with, right? Mm-hmm. So in the end, it's not the if, it's about is it existing already also in your supply chain, in your customer base? Yeah, where do you want to start? And I think that's the big deal here.
Yeah, that's exactly that. The question in our process industries, this digitalization arrived already. So the question is not, should we digitalize? Because the answer is very easy. It's yes. If you don't, you're disrupted. The question is even not when do we digitalize? Because the answer is easy as well. It's now. If you don't do it now, you're going to lose market space. So now the real question is how we start and where we start to digitalize. And that's exactly where our customers, where you should start to think about.
Absolutely. And we have one remark for you. So what do you think? And this is a quiz now, just to wake you up a little bit and get you engaged. Tonight there's a great game, right? So we will see Bavaria Munich, Bayern Munich playing, and we have 2 scarves here you could win. So what do you think? If you type into Google digitalization, how many hits will you be receiving? And don't touch your mobile phone now.
Any idea? Digitalization in Google, how many hits? Who say 100,000? More? How much? 1 million? More? 5?
5?
Getting closer. You got 2 scarves, guys. I mean, maybe you are not a Bayern
There was a
supporters,
6,
but
Steve,
you can
already
say-
over there.
Oh, where? Where? 6? You're right. 6.7 million exactly. Okay, I got another scarf, so who wants it? Right. And that's the thing. When we talk about digitalization, we can be very, very quickly lost into the technologies. And how do we make the difference between a technology that for your industry is bringing value and which technology is just, let's say, a hype for your industry? And to add complexity on that, every industry has different benchmark in terms of which technology is mature and which technology isn't yet here.
And I think, Steve, we should talk about the approach, how to leverage that, right? In the end, it's about technology, but it's about the organization, it's about the process, it's about analyzing, right?
Exactly. So in Siemens, we have developed a step-by-step approach to help our customer step-by-step to define the implementation roadmap and to really identify which technology will bring the most value and when to implement it. So we start always with a scoping workshop or a scoping discussion. It's like, Martin, if you have to digitalize, my first question to you would be, why do you want to digitalize? Is it just for branding or is it just for following the trends? Or is it because you want to, I don't know, increase transparency or reduce costs or, I don't know, increase efficiency? Increase or decrease the time to market, all these kind of business drivers, these key drivers, this is the first step. Doesn't make any sense to implement technologies or to implement projects for digitalization if it's not addressing your business drivers, right?
That's exactly the point. So you should understand what's the point you can leverage. Where's the so-called low-hanging fruit maybe in your organization? The first milestones to be implemented. I think that's the big deal here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So then once we've got these directions, what do we want to achieve? We start understanding where are you? Where are you? Because of course in the same industry you have different maturities. Some of the companies are really digitalized. So they have an ERP, they have an MES, they have a very good automation. And some in the same industry are, let's say, lagging behind. So the first thing is that we cannot propose you what is the best technology without knowing already where you're standing. And that's a critical step. And to add complexity, Martin, is the level of maturity in different industries is different, right?
And it's very individual per country, per company. Yeah, per culture in a company. So I think it's a very individual task to address, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the really critical point, is really to assess that and to assess that in a natural way. That is very important, right?
Let me ask you, what's the offering you have as digital consulting then?
Yeah, I mean, let me go to the last step on the define and then we can talk about it. Once we have defined where you're standing and where you're standing in compared to your industry benchmark, if I may say, then we really dig deep into the different solutions that are fitting to your systems. It means that first, once we understood where you are standing and where you want to go, only after that we are trying to fill the gaps that are missing and to propose you the right solutions. This is only at this moment that we start talking about technologies. Now back to your point, Martin. We are proposing this consulting approach, the step 1, 2, and 3. And very important, we are proposing that in a natural way. It means that we are not coming with a mindset already of wanting to sell a specific item of a portfolio, in this case Siemens. We are really coming here to have this holistic approach and neutral approach. So the report that I would give you if you are my customer would be completely neutralized. We would just talk about technologies, functional requirements of what you should do on the project number 1, project number 2. And of course, I know that you're interested with the money. Of course, we will also give you an estimate of the investment you need and the return on investment you're going to get.
And the consulting itself is a defined package then, or how you charge for that service?
Yep, I mean, there is no free lunch. Huh? And we have, let's say, basically 2 packages. If our customer want to discover, because they are already starting their digital transformation, then we have a workshop. It's 2 days. 2 days workshop when we talk about business drivers, where you are, where you want to go, exactly what I said, 2 days. Then here is, let's say, just 2 days of work. But normally we are charging 4 weeks of consulting. 4 weeks of consulting is an average size of a project, 4 to 5 weeks. Obviously, it depends how many projects you want to have in detail, right? And how many projects you want us to calculate the return on investment. But yes, that's more or less a 5 weeks consulting project. And at the end of this project, you've got your roadmap and you can start implementing.
That sounds very reasonable. So you define a strategy and you cluster that already as kind of interim roadmap to implementation, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, after that, our job is finished, but then you can benefit from the footprint of Siemens to implement these solutions. So then you as a customer is free to come to us at Siemens and then to ask us to implement. But that's another step where consulting is stepping out, and then our colleagues from the solution and implementation are stepping in.
Quick question, where is this service available? Globally?
Good point. Forgot to say, we are on the booth 99, straight ahead. If those who didn't get any sugar, or any enough sugar, you can still, we have a lot over there. And then
I
we
think
can
there's some cans left, right? So
we have some, yeah. And then we can really explain you in more details what is your approach or answer your question.
So thank you very much for your attention.
Martin, thanks for sharing this stage with me. And then, guys, if you have any question, we are more than happy to detail you a little bit more what we are doing.
And have fun with the game tonight, right?
I hope you're for Bayern, because otherwise I get back the scarf, right?
At least you are for
No?
Siemens, so half of the scarf.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Steve and Martin. Big hand of applause to the 2 of you.
Thank
really
you.
interesting how you brought the topic of digitalization consulting across.